with apologies to Joni Mitchell, we are paving over a parking lot and putting up paradise.
Zohran is once again proving that if these politicians wanted to fix things, they would. There is seemingly nothing that he can't do for New York, from otters coming home to homes being built. Mamdani's administration is laser focused on actually improving the lives of their citizens. Under his leadership, the city is turning its housing crisis around in spectacular fashion.
It's considered a housing emergency. New York City's rental vacancy rate is 1.4%, the lowest since 1968. But today, they took a step to address this crisis. The city now turning an underutilized NYPD parking lot into a housing development. Naveen Dhaliwal takes a look now at the plans in the East Village.
For decades, Hannah Millman's view from her East Village condo overlooked an NYPD parking lot on East 5th Street. Soon it will be different, with an affordable housing development project in the works.
It's going to block our windows, but I'm all supportive of the mayor and giving affordable housing for New Yorkers.
City officials say the project, that will be called the Oria, delivers on the promise of putting city-owned land to better use.
A minimum of 131 deeply affordable homes with a set-aside for a minimum of 30% of the units going to seniors who need on-site supportive services.
They also say 30% of apartments will be reserved for formerly homeless New Yorkers. There will be a large array of services for those living here, plus landscape terraces and green roofs to enjoy.
Health services will include primary care, mental health services, substance abuse programs, and day treatment programs. This building will also provide 25 parking spaces for the NYPD.
City-owned site announced under Mamdani's block-by-block housing plan, and an early test of how his administration plans to tackle New York's affordability crisis. It's one of the city's defining issues, and it's only gotten more urgent. In Manhattan and Brooklyn, median rents just hit record highs, according to a new Corcoran report. 131 units may not make much of a dent by themselves. What's more significant is the blueprint, using underutilized city-owned land to build affordable housing.
In addition to the city-owned housing, which will be of much better utility than an NYPD parking lot, the Land Commission under Mamdani is pushing through approvals to get even more parking lots turned into housing. Another 200 units is being added to the tally, where before the city might have just sat on these projects for God knows how long. Under Zohran's Block by Block initiative, though, things are different.
I've had Livin' La Vida Loca stuck in my head ever since I was at Zohran's housing announcement.
She's into superstitions, like cats and voodoo dolls.
Why don't you talk a little bit about your block by block announcement today on housing?
Well, first of all, it was a pleasure to have you. And what we were so excited to announce today was our housing plan, which is called Block by Block. This is a plan that will do three things. It will build 200,000 new affordable homes over the next 10 years, preserve 200,000 affordable homes at the same time. It will invest $5.6 billion into NYCHA, public housing in New York City, more of an investment than the city has seen in decades. And finally, it'll invest in the tenants of today. It'll actually make it easier for tenants to not only report code violations, but to hold their landlords accountable to ensure that they're actually living in a place that's habitable in New York City.
Finally, someone is doing something about the housing unaffordability crisis that is ruining 2 generations' dreams now. I see this video of Chinese Zoomers showing off their beautiful new homes in China, and at this point, for a lot of people, it seems like something like this is a complete fantasy in this country, no matter how hard you work. But Julie Su, Deputy Mayor to Zohran, is explaining exactly how their approach is actually going to fix it.
We have, for too long in the city, had a booming economy by large aggregate numbers, but one that was also deeply unaffordable. We've had, an expanding skyline while New Yorkers were living ever-shrinking lives, and we are no longer going to pretend that that's good enough. So the Deputy Mayor for Economic Justice, the job is to make sure that there's a competitive and level playing field, that we continue to grow the economy and measure that growth by how everyday New Yorkers are feeling, whether they can stay in the city, whether they can afford the basics of life, right? Housing, food, childcare, transportation. And ensuring, we do not take the choice that you have to choose economic growth or economic justice. We believe that's a false choice, and we're choosing both.
The administration announced a new initiative to protect workers' rights, and it's the sort of thing that makes you wonder why they ever did things differently. Before, if you had gotten scammed or underpaid, there would have been first a civil investigation, and then afterward, a whole nother criminal investigation that had to start over from scratch, which is not only a waste of time and energy, but meant that in some cases, the statute of limitations would run out. But now the DA's office and the Department of Worker Protections are working hand in hand, sharing information in order to protect workers' wages from being stolen.
We know that affordability is about both sides of the ledger. It's about bringing down the cost of things, and we've been laser focused on that. It's also about making sure that working people can keep more in their pockets. That's a function of better jobs with higher wages. It's also about their ability to join a union and negotiate for better wages, right? Union wages always higher than minimum wages. There's a reason for that. When workers have a voice on the job, it's good for everybody. And I think it's also a function of cracking down on the ways that New Yorkers have been nickeled and dimed for a long time. The junk fees, the subscription traps. So we're taking an all of it approach to how we address affordability.
This is one of my favorite charts because it shows just how massive wage theft really is, how much is routinely stolen from workers every single year, an amount that dwarfs all other theft, including burglary and auto theft. And yet, because of criminal versus civil legalities, it feels almost impossible to stop your boss from reaching into your till and stealing off the top. That is, until Zohran's team walked into City Hall. They're proving that protecting workers is not only just, but it's also lucrative.
New York City is not immune from all of the reasons why the federal economy has taken such a dramatic downturn. At the same time, we don't have to just take it. It's really important what we do. It's important, New York City is a big economy that also helps to affect the rest of the nation's economy. And what we're seeing here is a different picture. We've had over 21,000 jobs created in the city over the last 6 months. New York City-based companies have raised over $21 billion in venture capital, which is a 102% increase from the same time period last year. We've had companies open their global headquarters here. The mayor and I were both proud to stand alongside American Express when they broke ground on their 2 World Trade Center headquarters. And the Manhattan real estate market is the strongest it's been since 2000.
The fiscal conservative narrative is completely falling apart. Turns out that having a strong, healthy, and happy workforce is a good economic investment. If you like our work, you can support the channel by subscribing, hyping the video, or becoming a member. I'm Tony Hinderman, and I'll catch you next time.